Hey, what's up guys? So today we'll be taking a quick look at the HTC 10. I've had this phone for a couple of weeks and I want to give you my thoughts about it. Just one thing you can say about HTC is that they make well-built devices, and that always made them stand out from the rest of the crowd. Now 2016 has been a great year for smartphones. You've had the LG G5, the Galaxy S7, and now the HTC 10 that came out, and they're all great devices. But what really makes the HTC 10 stand out is the design and the build quality of this phone. So the HTC 10 has great software that goes with the phone, and it has one of the best features that I've seen on any other flagship device. There are a couple of features you're going to be losing, like the front-facing speakers. We'll get to that in a minute, but overall it's a well-balanced phone. Now before we get to the full review, let me give you the full specs of the phone. You're getting a 5.2-inch Quad HD display, Android 6.0.1 out of the box, 32 or 64 gig of storage, 4 gigabytes of RAM, a 12 megapixel camera, and of course you're getting a 3000 milliamp hour battery with a Snapdragon 820 chip. Now let's take a quick look and see what HTC did this year with the design. The most important thing when it comes to buying a new smartphone is how it looks and feels in the hand. And the HTC 10 does look and feel amazing. The rear of the phone isn't as rounded as previous devices, so it wasn't as pleasant to hold as previous generations. But it did felt great in the hand, with the chamfered edges being sharper, and they do add to the well-balanced construction, so it doesn't constantly feel like the phone is going to slip out of your hands. But I still do recommend putting a dbrand skin on it, as the phone is quite slippery. And one of the major design changes has left me quite disappointed, is that you no longer have front-facing HTC speakers. They have been moved to the bottom of the phone to make space for the brand new fingerprint scanner. Is it really worth the trade-off? In my opinion, I would say no, but who knows, maybe some people like the added security. Other than that, you're getting an aluminum unibody design that HTC has kept from previous devices. So HTC has updated every part of the smartphone, and the display is no exception. Now thanks to the 2560 by 1440 Quad HD resolution screen, is a mighty impressive LCD panel. All in all, it's a great display to look at, and colors are not too saturated. Even though it's an LCD panel, you're getting great outdoor visibility. One last thing, the HTC 10 is missing one great feature that I miss from the Galaxy S7 or even the LG G5, the always-on display. Now when I'm sitting down at work or I'm at school and I'm working on something, I don't really have to pick up my phone and look at who texted me, because the always-on display gives me up-to-date notifications. I get to see the weather, the clock, what time it is, without even having to open the phone. And that was a great feature that I missed. It could have been also that it's an LCD panel, and that's why HTC didn't bring it to the HTC 10, but LG did bring it on to their LG G5, and they're also using an LCD panel. But you do wonder why HTC didn't bring this awesome feature to the HTC 10. Maybe we'll see it in the next generation HTC phone. HTC has done a fantastic job with the software on the HTC 10. It's a perfect mix of Nexus line experience with some useful features laid on top. It is my favorite Android skin, and it easily beats both Samsung's TouchWiz and LG's UX5. The latest version of Sense UI is HTC's cleanest and borrows many elements from stock Android. HTC's biggest move here is to cut nearly all useless duplicate apps. HTC claims they work directly with Google to clean up the software experience on its latest flagship device, and you can really tell the difference from previous Sense versions. Let's take photos for example. The Google app is now a default gallery app on the HTC 10, which makes life so much easier as all of my photos get backed up to the cloud and I could access them easily through any of my devices. And on top of that, HTC also added some key useful features to work especially with the 10, like RAW files and Zoe photos, which is kind of like live photos on the iPhone, which makes the whole Android experience much smoother. The only thing I really didn't like about the software was the swipe down to launch the camera. It didn't always work, and it was kind of slow, as unlocking the phone and just launching the camera was way faster. And finally, there's no always-on display. This was a big disappointment for me, as I really enjoyed this feature on the Galaxy S7 and LG G5. Now let's take a quick look and see how well this phone performs. Performance-wise, the HTC 10 did a great job of handling whatever I threw at it. Whether I was gaming, watching a movie, the phone really didn't bog down on me. And I wasn't surprised, as the HTC 10 is rocking a Snapdragon 820 chip paired with 4 gigabytes of RAM. This phone is a real beast. When it came to performance, the only issue that I really had was the audio quality.
There's never much love when we go OT. I pray to make it back in one piece. I pray. That's why I need a one dance. Higher powers taking a hold on me. I need a one dance. Got a Hennessy in my hand. One more time.
Now, we all remember HTC's boom sound speakers. I do wish HTC went and placed the fingerprint scanner on the back, just like on the HTC One Max that was announced a couple of years ago. And also, the battery life wasn't as great. It would only last me a day with mild usage. If I would use my phone normally, checking Facebook, using Snapchat, texting, the phone's battery would drain like there's no tomorrow. Also, the camera on the HTC 10 wasn't as good as the competition. Now, don't get me wrong, it is 100 times better than last year's HTC's A9, which was terrible. It wasn't even comparable to the competition. However, this year's HTC 10 is not a total flop. They did use a 16 megapixel camera lens made by Sony, and it does take alright pictures. But if you do compare it with the Galaxy S7 or the LG G5, you do tend to go over with the Galaxy S7 pictures or the LG G5s. So when we take a look at pricing and availability, the HTC 10 is priced quite reasonably. It's going to be available with Verizon and T-Mobile, not with AT&T just yet. However, in Canada, it's a different story. The HTC 10 is only available with one major network in Canada, which is Bell Mobility. It is one of the third largest carriers in Canada, so for those of us who aren't with Bell, it is going to be quite hard to get this phone. Our only other option is going to be going straight through HTC Online and shelling out $1,000. Now, a lot of us aren't going to be willing to spend $1,000. And even for those of us who are going to be willing to spend $1,000, buying a phone that we can't even try in stores. But I think this was a bad move for HTC this year. But maybe next year, HTC might change their strategy and go with all the major networks. Also, Bell Mobility is one of the worst carriers in Canada. You can cut that out though, it's just a joke, it's just a joke. So before I give you guys my final words, I want to give you guys the pros and cons of this device. Pros, you're getting one of the best Android UIs, you're getting an excellent design, an awesome camera, and a great fingerprint scanner. Cons, it's an expensive device, it's not available with every carrier, especially in Canada, and also the battery life isn't that good. So it all comes down to what you like and what you don't like about the phone, and what you're going to be sacrificing when buying this device. Mainly what you're going to be sacrificing on this phone is battery life. Other than that, this phone is a great all-around device. In my opinion, the Galaxy S7 is one of the best phones you can buy right now. But still, nobody can really compare it to the Galaxy S7. It has a great camera, it also has a great build, and you're getting a way better display than on the HTC 10. So the one thing I really missed on the HTC line was the front-facing speakers. And as I told you previously, the front-facing speakers are gone on the HTC 10. And that was a great feature that I really liked on previous HTC devices. So all around, if you guys want to buy this phone, it's a great phone to buy, but in 2016, you can't make a device like this. It has to be a really great device for you to buy. Shell out $1,000 also on this phone, it has to be a really great device. You have to be getting the top of the line specs, which you are, but you're not getting a lot of features that are in current flagship devices like on the Galaxy S7. But keep your eyes out, I know that HTC is making the next Nexus device, but maybe that will be a better flagship device. So if you guys like this review, please like, share, and subscribe. And also we'll be doing a quick giveaway, so if you guys want to see that, make sure to subscribe and like us on Facebook. See you guys in the next video.